Welcome to Diversity in the Child Care Setting. My name is Angel Avery Wright, and I'm a Program Quality Assessor with the Pennsylvania Key. So to start with, let's just think about how many items you have in your center. Do you have some play food, dolls, or clothes? Do you have play food, dolls, and clothes? Do you have dishes, play food, dolls, clothes, and other items that show diversity, or are you not sure where you stand? What kinds of diversity do you see in your centers? Maybe you have food and clothing. Do you have dolls? How about musical instruments? Do you play different types of music? Do you have photos? How about dishes? And what art materials might we find in the art section that are diverse? Adding diversity to art. Multicultural paint, crayons, markers, pencils, and paper all can show signs of different types of skin colors. Fabric and other materials with patterns on them that are used by various cultures can also be included here. Can you think of other items to use as tools? Maybe some chopsticks with Play-Doh? The easiest place to add diversity, and often this is where we as assessors see it in the program, is dramatic play. You can have menus from different restaurants, collect them, laminate them, add them to a ring, and hang them on the wall for easy access. Play foods, keep in mind that we're always looking for a contrast with play foods. It's not enough to have some spaghetti or a taco. You need to have the spaghetti and the taco to create a contrast. Things like kebabs and pierogies make a contrast. Something like pizza and sushi makes a contrast. Look at your dishes and utensils. Do you have African wooden bowls, or rice bowls, or Chinese food boxes, chopsticks, pizza boxes, even pasta boxes would count here. Clothing, Mexican dresses, shirts, sombreros, berets, African print shirt or pants, play eyeglasses. Those are some of the things that we've seen. Other ideas include things like recipes, books on food or families, photos of families, people of different races, culture, age, gender, ability, glasses. They can all be part of your dramatic play center. Include celebration things like piñatas or Christmas trees, stockings, baskets, African masks, replicas of artwork, menorahs. Think about furniture and materials such as baby walkers or wheelchairs. Dolls or play people with crutches, wheelchairs, or a blind person with a dog or a cane also count for diversity. And then also look for dolls of different races, cultures, and they might have different clothing on them. Play food. Do you see any contrasts in here? So keep in mind that when an assessment is done, we have to have a contrast. You have to have two items from two different cultures that can be compared. So if you look at the pictures here, you'll see a croissant and you'll also see braided bread. The croissant is from France, the braided bread is Czech. You'll see a slice of pizza and a hamburger. Pizza is attributed to Italy and the hamburger is considered German. You can see Swiss cheese and beans. The Swiss cheese is Swiss, obviously, and then beans are common among Central and South American countries. Other items that you may see in your dramatic play food section include things like salmon rolls and sushi, which are Japanese, lasagna, spaghetti, and pizza, which is Italian. Sandwiches were invented by the Earl of Sandwich in England because he needed something that he could carry his food in. Pierogies are Polish, tacos are Mexican, empanadas and enchiladas are Hispanic, and they can be done various ways depending on which culture is making them. Bagels are Austrian, baked plantains, peanut rounds, and fufu are of African dishes. Pretzels, hot dogs, and hamburgers are of German descent. So when you look at this picture, do you see any contrasts? French fries and pizza, but keep in mind that French fries are not French. They were found in Belgian villages in 1608. The villagers were fond of frying fish in the local river, but when the river froze over, they started frying potatoes. The modern-day French fry appeared in a Persian recipe book in 1775. We talk about dramatic play and how some things are very simple to add in, like hats. Clothing can be used like skirts, scarves, jackets, shirts, etc. But the examples seen in centers that we see often include a Mexican skirt, an African scarf, a Chinese top, and a sombrero. But let's just talk about hats for a minute. The beret was created in southwestern France in the 19th century. The top hat is an English hat that occurred in 1793. And the bowler, which is called a bowler in England but is also known as a derby in America, was a semi-formal / informal hat created in 1849. The sombrero is a Mexican men's hat used to shield their face from the sun. Kufi is a West African hat usually worn by Muslim men for religious purposes. And the American cowboy hat was created by Stetson in the 1860s. Adding diversity to display. Label materials in other languages besides English. Have a hello board where hello is written in different languages. Photos. Again, we're looking for a contrast. So if you have a picture of a female doctor, you also need to have a picture of a male doctor. A female and a male cop, or a female and a male firefighter. Race. You want to make sure that you show people of different races. And you want to have cultural pictures too. Often cultural pictures will show pictures of traditional clothing, but keep in mind that most people today do not wear traditional clothing every day. Ability is having photos of people wearing glasses, sitting in a wheelchair, or using a cane, etc. And then age, photos of a family reunion showing people of different generations, or a picture of grandparents with their grandchildren. Something, again, that shows you a contrast in the age levels. Collages do not count. Photos need to be separate to count as a contrast. So people in the same photo can count as a contrast. An example includes an older person with a child in one photo, a family depicting a black dad and a white mom, or an Asian doctor looking at a white child. Those are all considered contrasts within the photo. If you have separate photos and you have a child of a Hispanic background riding on a bike and a photo of a black child running in a field, those two photos would be considered a contrast. Adding diversity to blocks. You can add diversity with photos of various famous buildings and landmarks, such as the Taj Mahal, the Golden Gate Bridge, the Tower Bridge, the Eiffel Tower, Chateau Chambord, St. Louis Arch, the Great Wall of China. Can children build those things? In their imagination they can. Their blocks might not resemble these exactly, but it gives them an idea of what architecture looks like around the world. How diverse are your books? Do they include race, culture, ability, age, and gender? That's what we look for. In race, do you have books that depict people of different races, or just one? If just one, is there another book with a contrasting race? Cultures. These can include books that are written in Spanish or other languages, or books depicting stories from a specific country or culture. Ability. Do your books have characters that wear glasses, or maybe there's someone with a walker or a wheelchair? Oftentimes these can be spotted with you have a page of a large group of people. Age. Is there a grandparent in the story? If a book shows a large group of people again, do you have a variety of age, both young and older people? And then gender, and it can be boys and girls or men and women. Pictures of them doing the same thing. So two adults that are both doctors, but one's a woman and one's a man. And then children, maybe you have them riding bikes and it's a boy and a girl. So those are the type of contrasts we look for. Diversity in music. What types of music do you listen to? Do you include things like country songs, children's songs, folk songs, disco, African music, Irish music, German music? Do you know the chicken dance? What kind of musical instruments do you have? Do you have the African drums, maracas, triangles, tambourines, didgeridoos, or the wooden frog from Puerto Rico. These are all examples of different types of diversity in both music and music instruments. If all of your children celebrate the same holidays, by all means celebrate that. If you have children with different religious, cultural, or racial holidays, share that too. Expose children to holidays from around the world: Christmas, Hanukkah, Ramadan, Easter, Kwanzaa. But did you know that most countries have an Independence Day? May Day in Britain is where children dance around a maypole. Burns Day, where Scottish celebrate the poems of Robert Burns. St. Lucia's Day in Europe. Bloomsday in Dublin, Ireland celebrates the writing of James Joyce. Day of the Dead is where Mexicans remember their relatives who have passed on. Catholics all around the world celebrate All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day, which are 2 consecutive days to honor the deceased. Graves are decorated with flowers, people go to church to pray, and many light candles in their windows. Japanese people have fallen in love with Western Halloween traditions because each year they throw a Kawasaki Halloween parade. And during this event, more than 4,000 people take over the streets dressed as impressive costumes. The event's so popular you have to apply 2 months in advance if you want to join the parade. Sometimes called the Chinese Halloween, Yulan or Hungry Ghost Festival, lasts for an entire month, usually in August or September. This festival marks the birthday of the Taoist god who passes judgment on living people's actions. Adherents of the faith ask for forgiveness through various festival rituals. One ritual of the holiday is burnt offerings, including food, paper phones, and clothing as a way to provide for ancestors in the afterlife. There are holidays such as Bon Am Tok in Cambodia, where they connect with nature during a November festival, celebrating the annual reversal of water flow. Bulgaria has a festival called Surva. Pernik is one of the largest cities in Bulgaria and boasts a unique tradition. It almost looks like a masquerade festival. Thousands of people participate and gather, wearing ritual masks and belts made of bells to represent the various regions of the country. This is their way to chase away evil spirits at the start of the new year. Belgium has the Carpet of Flowers. Big fan of the Rose Parade? Try out the Brussels version. The festival got started in 1971 as a way to commemorate Belgium, the world's largest producer of these flowers and cultivator of approximately 60 million bulbs each year. One of the major Hindu holidays is Diwali, the Festival of Lights. It pays homage to the gods and marks the beginning of a new year. So find out what holidays are around that your children might be interested in hearing about and include that in your diversity programming. Do you include diversity in your meals? Are you serving different types of cultural foods, such as rice and chicken or rice and beans, which might be considered a Hispanic dish? You have pizza, that's an Italian dish, and pasta. And then you may serve things from other cultures. But do you explain to the children what these items are, where they come from, and how they were invented? Games. Did you know that chess was created in India? Mancala is the East African game found in 700 AD. Ludo is a patent in England but originated in medieval India. Did you know that Uno came from Ohio? Chinese checkers comes from Germany. Parcheesi is an Indian game. But make sure that if you're including these, that you're including the real games and not just a plastic ripoff, especially for games like Mancala. Puzzles are another way to add diversity to your classroom. Puzzles that depict cultural food, people of different races, cultures, ages, and abilities, different types of houses, transportation, families, other languages, or holidays. Can you think of anything else you might see in your puzzles that would count for diversity? Sharing other language. Label materials, storage containers, and items in the classroom in other languages, especially if you have a classroom that speaks more than one language. Have a hello board in multiple languages where you say things like bonjour, which is good day in French, or jambo, which means hello in Swahili. Guten Tag means good day in Germany. Gracias means thank you in Spanish, but merci means thank you in French. Namaste is hello in Hindi, and mi madre means my mother, and good day mate in Australia. So even those that might speak English may say things differently, and you can include all of that on your other language board. There are also other miscellaneous ways to conclude diversity, such as having different types of puppets, and that seems to be a common one that we sometimes see in dramatic play, or sometimes we'll see like just outside of dramatic play. But puppets can certainly be included. We also have decorations. These are Colombian bags. They can be used in the dramatic play or as part of a display item. Rugs can have children of different cultures depicted on them. Chinese lanterns, Mexican pottery, any of these items would work as counting for diversity. Think about a global travel center. Children often don't see beyond themselves, so they don't understand that countries are a world away. But if you have children that are old enough to understand this, you can set up a travel station. This way you can give them the idea of what cultures and people are out there, because it might be hard for them to grasp this. Create a global station where children can visit a different country and learn about its culture, and then update this station with new countries throughout the year. Most classrooms have some form of daily meeting or circle time, and again, greet your children in a different type of language. Buenos dias, have a good day in Spanish. You can count in different languages. You could say good morning in different languages. You could teach a word a day, in sign language. Teaching them thank you when you move your hand from your chin out. Recite poems, finger plays, and songs in other languages. Thank you for attending this session of Let's Talk Quality webinar series. If you have any questions, feel free to contact any quality coach.